Jackson, Mississippi, and all surrounding areas. You've tuned in to the Free Range Human Show of Choice, your daily dose of reality radio. It starts now. This is the Clay Edwards Show. I am, you guessed it, Clay Edwards, at least last time I checked. I heard Mike Madison the other day as I was getting in my car talking about social credit scores. I think I've made this joke before, but I said if they ever steal my identity to do anything, they're going to have to give it right back. It's going to come back better than they found it. My social credit score is I'm already, can I file bankruptcy for social credit score? I just need to hit the reset button on my social credit score. So, I'm pretty sure I'm Clay Edwards. That's the moral to that. I don't think anybody else wants to be me. Y'all don't want to have to put up with the crap I put up with. So, look, good morning. Great weekend this weekend. Hope everybody made it out alive. Because, we're all supposed to be dead, especially all of us purebloods. We weren't supposed to survive the winter of severe death and illness, the summer of COVID, and any of these other things. So if you've somehow made it through the greatest attack on our senses in the history of this republic, the COVID vax, but the whole mandates, all that stuff, the brainwashing of people. If you made it through all that and you still have pure blood, my friends, that's going to be worth some money one day. I may be able to avoid my social credit score bankruptcy by buying my way out of it with my pure blood. I can't wait for the Red Cross to eventually come out, or Mississippi Blood Services, or whoever. It's like paying top dollar for pure blood. I'm going to be in there just like put it in my vein, or get it out of my vein, should I say. We're streaming live on Facebook this morning on the Save Jackson Facebook page. The first segment of the show up to around 7:20 will be on there. So if you want to tune in and see what's going on there, the comment section is what I like. I like people getting in the comments and talking back and forth. I think that stuff's good. So if you're listening on Facebook, hit the share button. Let's grow this thing. And, of course, we're streaming live at WYAB.com and on the TuneIn app at WYAB. And, of course, the podcast will be available within about 30 minutes of the show ending at 9 a.m. this morning. So tune in there if you want. We're going to try something new this week. Here at the end of the week, I'm just looking at the trends and stuff and looking at what other successful podcasters do. So I think what we'll do on Saturdays is I'll release a best of the week. We'll take one segment from each show, and we'll like one segment from each day. Maybe more. It just depends. We're not going to leave anything there that was good enough to put into a best of, but we're going to release a best of on Saturdays. So if you miss the show, or you don't have time to listen to the podcast every day, we'll do a best of. It'll come out on Saturday mornings. So it'll give you something for the weekend to listen to. And I do appreciate you guys. We had our biggest single week of podcast downloads in the history of this show. Y'all are just blowing me away there. So I do appreciate that. The sponsors appreciate it too. I'm getting a lot of feedback from them, and you guys are definitely getting out and supporting the sponsors of the show. So good work there. Look, let's jump in. I don't know what it is about dumb criminals thinking that they're going to run from Pearl or Richland or Flowood and make it back to Jackson. I coined it, and I haven't seen anybody else do this, so I'm going to take full credit for it. I've coined it #Escape to Jackson. You've seen the movies Escape from New York, Escape from L.A. We're going to call this Escape to Jackson. These criminals are constantly trying to get out of Rankin County and back into the criminal safe haven, Jackson, Mississippi. That's right, I said it. Criminal safe haven. They're running. We had it happen again over the weekend, at least twice. I heard it maybe was a third time, that maybe Richland had two. I hadn't been able to confirm that. But we know for a fact Saturday, and there was video of it, a car was running about 100 miles an hour. I guess he had avoided a traffic stop and was running about 100 miles an hour going north in the southbound lane on Highway 49. He ends up getting on Old 49, and right as Old 49 dead ends there into Highway 80, and that's where the Wearing Oil is, that building right there kind of under the stack. He went straight into the trees, took flight. into the trees. I don't know that driver's condition. But nobody got hurt but the tree and possibly the driver. So good job, Richland PD. Bad guys lose again, good guys win again. You know, and then Sunday, I'm sitting there, I'm doing a little work, and a friend of mine texts me that owns a shop downtown and tells me, hey, you probably already heard about this, but Pearl police just chased somebody into Jackson again, and they've wrecked, and they got off on foot and ran. And it happened right here in front of our shop over off South State Street. We're kind of behind South State Street, behind the old Fowler Buick there. And I was like, all right, well, I couldn't get the details together. I didn't want to post anything without some pictures, so I didn't say nothing about it. Well, I got another source hit me up a little bit later. He's like, hey, man, just want you to know that Pearl chased there was some people drag racing on the interstate. And we chased them. Of course, believe it or not, they were in a Dodge Charger. I don't know what it is about criminals, but they love their Chargers. I love Chargers too. I hate that criminals also love them. But those new Dodge Chargers are awesome. And go to Mac Hike Flowwood and get you one. They but they make it to Jackson. They wreck and they get off, a guy and a girl nonetheless. They get off and they run on foot, and they get caught. And now they're in Rankin County Jail. Or Pearl, wherever they got them at. I guess I never really wondered. I guess they take them to Pearl, process them, and then take them out to Rankin County. I don't know. Anyway. But they're in jail. And I'm just thinking, at what point do y'all get tired of coming over to Rankin County? Whether you're from Rankin or from Jackson, it's irrelevant. When do y'all get tired of coming over to Rankin County, effing around, and finding out that the police over there, they don't F around. They do not play. Homie, don't play that. As I said on my TikTok video yesterday about this. That's so funny saying TikTok. I got to quit. But, homie, don't play that over there. You're not going to get away. If you're running from the police, it's because you're running from something other than speeding or expired plates or a busted tail light. You're running for a reason. There's a felony that you're hiding usually when you're running. Now, people out drag racing on the interstate, that was the case here. I guess the other car got away. I never really paid too much attention to it. I got the article pulled up here on WLBT. Because, look, I never pretend. I'm not a reporter. I'm not an investigative reporter. I don't claim to be. I'm just a guy that ends up with a lot of good information, and I share it. I don't have to vet it. If I'm wrong, I'll just say, hey, got that one wrong, and we'll move on to the next thing. But that's what happens when you break stuff in real time. Kind of man on the streets type stuff. But let's see here. This is on WLBT. It says, 2 people have been arrested after a police chase that ended in the capital city Sunday evening. Pearl Police Department say that 2 cars were seen drag racing in Pearl on I-20, heading westbound. When police chased them, the 2 vehicles took the State Street exit and crashed at the intersection of State and Silas Brown in Jackson. Police stated that after the crash, a man jumped out of the vehicle in an attempt to escape. However, he, along with a woman, was arrested following the crash. Pearl police have not confirmed the identities, and charges are pending at this time. But that article reads almost like both cars crashed. So I'm not sure. Anyway, they in jail. Hashtag escape to Jackson foiled again because hashtag the good guys win again. Donald Trump said that we were going to win so much that we were going to get tired of winning. And I don't know how many of y'all listen to rap music out there, but there's a rapper from Baton Rouge named Kevin Gates. His biggest song is called I Don't Get Tired. Just like Kevin Gates, I don't get tired of winning, Trump. I don't get tired of winning. I get tired of going to work. I get tired of these bills coming in. But I don't get tired of winning, especially when it's bad guys on the other end on the receiving end of my win. But that would make them the losers. However you want to word that. I am not a wordsmith. Not at all. So I just kudos. So I say all that to say this. Kudos to the police out there. 2020 was a bad time to be a cop. With COVID mandates being enforced and then putting in impossible situations to not get fired by having to enforce crap they didn't want to enforce. Then the George Floyd nonsense happened. When George Floyd committed suicide by cop and fentanyl, and America decided to burn itself to the ground in urban cities and say that all cops were racist and all cops are bastards and all this other stuff. You know, it became real hard to be a cop and to stay a cop. I got a ton of friends in law enforcement. So it became very hard for them to do their jobs because every time they pull over, not every time, an overwhelmingly large amount of times they pull over the minorities, it turns into a conflict because these minorities have been watching so much CNN, MSNBC, and Twitter and mainstream news that they're convinced this cop is about to try to kill them. And I'm not even saying that they're wrong for being scared because they've been brainwashed by watching the media. So all these things turn into these crazy incidents and this escalation of stupidity because they're scared that they are convinced they're about to die. So it causes them to do the fight or flight, like an anxiety attack, panic attack. Anyway, it became very hard to be a cop. So to see Law and Order win again, and you see what happens in cities like Jackson, Mississippi. You don't have to look any further than Jackson, Mississippi to see what happens when you implement these criminal first policies. You have a city like Jackson, Mississippi, who had never had over 100 homicides. 2020, over 100 homicides. Broke the record. I think it was 123, if my memory serves me right. 124, 125, something like that. The following year, 153. 153, 140, 153, I think 153. 153 homicides in Jackson last year. Smashing, record-breaking in Chockaways, Jackson, when you defund the police. So, you don't have to look any further than our own backyards to see what happens when you let these anti-police woke policies take control in a city. Then look over in Rankin County, where it's law enforcement. First and foremost is law enforcement. One of the top expenditures for each suburban municipality, and Madison County too. I don't want to leave them out, and Clinton for that matter. And poor Clinton, they got to deal with Hinds County, and they border to Jackson. I mean, so unfortunately, they're not like Pearl or Richland. They are close to Jackson, but they are the Hinds County Board of Supervisors, a bunch of nut jobs out there. They're not much better than they're actually worse than the Jackson City Council, in my opinion. So kudos to Clinton for what they do. We don't talk about Clinton enough on this show, and we should. I grew up out there in South Jackson, Byram, spent a lot of time in Clinton. All right. When we come back, we're going to open the phone lines up. The Mac Hike of Flowwood phone line is 601-879-0002. The Guns and Gear text line, 769-241-1944. Again, another escape to Jackson foiled. We're going to talk about these on this show a lot. And I just want to say this to man. I know this show is growing, and I know that staying on course here and finding keeping our feet firmly on the ground and standing for what I believe in, and that is backing law enforcement and not wavering and not jumping on these little bandwagons. Oh man, watch a video like the Highway Patrol video. Say, oh my gosh, what was that cop doing? Saying, no, we're going to wait till the rest of it comes out. We're going to wait till the actual story comes out, and then we'll comment on it. But there's always more to the story, and we were right about that one. We're on the right side of Democrats love to say the right side of history. We're going to be proven to be on the right side of history by supporting law enforcement and supporting law and order. But I say all that. I've said this too many times. I say all that to say this. I think it's the third time I've said it this morning, this segment. But I say all that to say this. I know that we're making an impact because I'm getting law enforcement guys that I don't personally know send me messages thanking me for supporting them. And that means the world to me. That means that that you guys are listening, and you know that people out there have your back. There are some sane people left in this country, and we have your back here on the Clay Edwards Show. And I don't want to speak for everybody at WYAB, but I'm sure that I speak for everybody at WYAB. We support sanity and law and order. You're listening to the Clay Edwards Show. We'll be right back on 103.9 WYAB. Breaking rules when necessary. And also celebrating when the good guys win. We're going to celebrate some more victories around here. We're going to keep doing that here on the Clay Edwards Show. I can promise you that. All right, this segment is going to be brought to you by Watkins Construction and Roofing. A roof repair can cause you a lot of stress. Choosing the right roofing company to repair your roof is very important. It's raining out there this morning, so you may find out if you have a leak the hard way. So give Watkins Construction and Roofing a call. Let them come out and get you a complimentary roof assessment. They believe in an honest assessment that doesn't necessarily mean replacement. In most cases, all you need is a repair. So whether you have a leaky roof, you need chimney repair, flat roof repair, roof water leak, shingle roof repair, metal roof repair, chimney flashing repair needed, Watkins Construction and Roofing is your go-to roof repair specialist. You can reach them online at watkinsconstructioninc.com or give them a call today at 601-966-8233. And if you're down there around the High Street area, stop by, take a picture in front of their building, man. They got that really cool Jackson postcard mural painted on the, I think it's painted on the side of the Boots and More building, whatever. This building that's located right next to theirs. And this looks really cool, man. I tell you what, there's been a lot of that, that people are bringing back the murals. That's the most redneck word I think I pronounce. Murals. I used to work for a guy. Every time I'd say the word fire, he was like, fire. You say it like fire. Anyway. But I love these murals they're painting. Scott Allen, I grew up with him and his brother. I don't think Scott likes me, but I was told he didn't anyway. But Scott painted a couple of the ones in Jackson. He painted the big Jackson one when you get off at Pearl Street there, the big blue one that everybody take pictures in front of. And he also painted the one there on Watkins, on the side of Watkins. I think he also did the one there on the side of the Orkin, the Orkin building where the daiquiri shop is there on Capitol Street by the Federal building. I used to have a club in that building. I wish they had painted it on there then. Anyway, he did that. But another guy, they just did one out there on the side of a pizza place there in downtown Brandon, and it looks so cool. It may be the coolest looking one of these murals that I've seen lately. You can go to like I shared it on the Save Jackson page, but the Brandon 042 page has done a good job taking pictures of it through the progress. Go check it out, man. Or heck, go to downtown Brandon and go see it in person and take a picture of it. But I love this, man, because you're seeing people stopping. They take pictures in front of these things. We used to go to Ocean Springs a good bit, and I haven't been, but I think once in the last couple of years. But I loved taking pictures in front of I wouldn't really call them murals. They're more like repainted advertisements, like Coca-Cola and stuff on the side of buildings. I love getting pictures. Anytime I see those things, I'll stop and get a picture in front of them. I think that's stuff you look back at in 30, 40 years from now. And you're like, man, that was cool. You know, like when I see old pictures from back in the day, like old black and white photos from when downtown Jackson, what a cesspool of crime, prostitution, or meth-riddled crackheads running around, and you see all the painted buildings and all that, man, I love that stuff. That's what we mean by make Jackson great again. That's what we mean by make America great again. We want to be able to walk through our downtowns without seeing meth-riddled prostitutes and crackheads stealing crap. Last night over on the fairgrounds. Speaking of High Street, somebody was high as a kite on some kind of new super meth on top of a boom truck that sits right there in front of the fairgrounds. Capitol Police had to come get them off multiple times. Multiple times. And I know it was like, oh, Clay, why are you worried about some meth head playing on a boom truck like a jungle gym? Because it ain't normal. Like, quit normalizing criminality. Quit normalizing insanity. I mean, look, I'm all for mental health awareness and people getting help that are mentally ill. But if your mental illness is a side effect of your meth addiction, I don't have any sympathy for you. If your mental illness is a side effect of your alcoholism, I don't have any sympathy for you. I've seen it too much firsthand. When you can just quit drinking, when you can just quit smoking meth. If your mental illness is a side effect of another vice, of a vice, not another, of a vice, it's like people that get cancer from smoking. I feel terrible for you because you never want to see anybody dealing with that. But you know what you could have done? You could have quit smoking. People that get cirrhosis of the liver. It'll be a damn wonder if I get older if I don't have it. But I won't expect any sympathy from anybody if I got it from drinking. If you get it from drinking. People that get AIDS from doing unprotected sex stuff. Yeah, it sucks that you're going to die because you couldn't just quit humping without protection. People that get monkeypox. Okay, I don't feel sorry for them at all. You're bad. You're bad. I'm actively pulling for some of y'all to get monkeypox. Like, please get monkeypox so I can talk about it. So I can talk bad about you on the radio. Changing subjects just a little bit here. Let's see. We got a text in on the Guns and Gear text line. It says, run to Wakanda. Yeah, and that's unfortunate that that's what people think. That's the first thing that comes to people's minds when we talk about this escape to Jackson stuff. This is where I get in trouble. Folks. This is where I feel like I alienate some of my black listeners, and I'm not trying to. If you're a good law-abiding individual, I'm not talking about you. But this is clearly what you get with black Democrat leadership. Notice I said Democrat. I know plenty of good black conservatives out there that I would wholeheartedly, I would move back to Jackson. I'm telling you right now, if Kim Wade becomes mayor of Jackson, I'm moving back to Jackson because I want to be a part of that. So you heard it here first. But now with that said, I may be running for alderman in Brandon at some point. So but I think I got to live there for 2 years before I run. So we'll see. Yeah, but I do foresee a future in politics of some sort. It won't be in Jackson, unfortunately. People ask me all the time about that running for Jackson mayor stuff. I mean, look, man, Jackson is broken, and it's so funny that they call it the city with soul, because it's the city without a soul. Jackson ain't got no soul. Most of the live music in Jackson sucks. It's not artsy. It's none of that. Now, there's a few now, let me walk that back a little bit. Not saying the people that play there suck. I'm just saying that it ain't my kind of music. Let me say that again. I like to go hear a good southern rock band, a good rock band, all the good blues band, and man, there just ain't enough of it. I mean, you got a couple good venues, Martin's and Howlin' Mouse, they kill it. Love them. They have great bands. Not a lot of the stuff I listen to, but I respect it. F. Jones Corner, they do the blues same. They got that locked down. They do good at that. But man, you used to go out to Jackson and hear a live band. It didn't like you could man, do I want to hear a hair metal cover band? Check. Do I want to hear like a Dr. Zara and the Amazing Funk Monster kind of band? Check. There was 3 or 4 different places every night that had a world-class cover band or original bands playing. Yours truly owned places that brought these bands to town. And I'm not even talking about my places. I'm talking about like Chip Matthews places and when Howlin' Mouse brought bands in every weekend, like touring bands and cover bands. And when DeWitt had Voodoo Lounge, even though he had me kicked out of it. I'm still a little salty about that, DeWitt. There were places downtown where you could go hear good live music consistently. But, people don't want to come to Jackson anymore because it's dangerous. It's a criminal safe haven. The only people that want to run to Jackson are people that are breaking the law in the suburbs. Hashtag escape to Jackson. I'm going to make that a thing. Every time we share one of these news stories moving forward, and I'm referring to, when I say we, I mean y'all listening and me, we're going to use that hashtag escape to Jackson. Because that's what it is. It's an escape to Jackson. All right, man, when we come back, I want to talk about, oh, wait, hold on. I got somebody on hold real quick. Hey, caller, you're on there. I'm sorry.
Good morning, Clay. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm fine. I just wanted to tell you a couple of things back to your original segment that you started with. I wanted to say,
sorry.
Are you still there?
Yeah, sorry. I tried to put somebody else on hold. It didn't work.
All righty. I just wanted to say that I have the men and women's in blue back, too. And I also wanted to say kudos to the Brandon Police Department out at the Brandon Amphitheater. They directed traffic well, and it moved smoothly. I'm really glad about that because traffic like that stresses me out sometimes when I'm driving and folks don't move, but they did a wonderful job, and I greatly appreciate Brandon Police Department for being out there.
Heck
and my last thing I wanted to say is you were talking about jogging, right? Well, one of my riders asked me last night, is it safe to jog in the morning in Jackson? And I said, well, not really. And he asked me again, is it safe to jog in the morning in Jackson? I said, well, not really. And he said to me, did you say, well, not really? I said, yes. I said, well, not really. So I don't think he went jogging this morning in Jackson. He's one of the downtown hotels. But anyway, that's all I wanted to say. You have a great day.
Hey, Sylvia, I didn't get a chance to return your text yesterday. Jim did get in touch with me, by the way.
Oh, great.
So
great.
Hopefully he'll follow up, but we'll follow up today. So, yes, thank you for that.
You're welcome. That's great. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye. It ain't safe to run in Jackson in the mornings. It ain't safe to run in Jackson or jog in Jackson at lunch. And it ain't safe to jog in Jackson at night for dang sure. And shout out to them Capitol Police Jump Up Boys. They just got a text from one of them. They're listening this morning. This is the Clay Edwards Show. We'll be right back on 103.9 WYAB. Breaking rules when necessary. Welcome back into the Clay Edwards Show. This segment is going to be brought to you by Ellis Autoplex. Ellis Autoplex is Rankin County's hometown dealership, man, owned by my buddy Casey Ellis and his wife Rachel, and staffed by myself. No, man, I am out there working. Last week was my first full week out there at Ellis Autoplex, so hadn't sold a car yet. Y'all come see your boy, but I did get to meet some great people that stopped by to say hey, and went on some test drives with some folks. So getting that sales funnel filled up. But look, man, if you're in the market for a great pre-owned full-size truck, SUV, car, any of that type stuff, man, we got it all. We got about 40 nice vehicles out there. Financing is available. Go to ellisautoplex.com. And hey, if you are in the market to sell your vehicle and you don't want to deal with the Craigslist crazies or the Facebook Marketplace psychopaths, is this available? Is this available? Is this available? Just come bring it out there, man. We're paying top dollar for vehicles. Top dollar, market value for quality pre-owned vehicles. And even if it ain't quality, bring it out there, man. We'll buy the wholesale pieces and send it to the auction. We'll take it off your hands. So that make life a lot easier. Because I'm going to tell you what, trying to sell a car yourself, it's a nightmare. It is. Because people think you're a dealership. Like you're somehow supposed to fix everything on the car. And if something goes wrong with it, they're calling you, telling you sold them a bad car. Let us handle all that. Just take all that stress off of you. Don't worry about putting tires on it. Don't worry about putting a windshield in it. We'll do that. So check out ellisautoplex.com, located right there at 2195 Highway 471 in Brandon. As soon as you get off Highway 25, we're right there on the right past Boo's Smokehouse. All right, we got a call on the Matt Kiker Flowwood phone line. I believe we've got Josh. Josh, you on there?
Hey, Clay. So yesterday when it was brought up, when we hemmed that meth head up and he ran and jumped the fence, when Capitol Police showed up and then he was gone, he said he wanted to take him to jail, but at that point, he said it was just a misdemeanor. You know, I recognize that. I just wanted to get his help in case. I didn't have time to see if the guy had actually broke in the truck. He was in the back fumbling through stuff. I saw stuff flying out, you know, and he grabbed a water bottle, and he was trying to get water, and that's when I rolled up and scared him, and he jumped out, didn't have any shoes off, took off running. And we were trying to stop him. Then Capitol Police came in, and we had him boxed in. And then it was better decided that he hit the fence and jump over and get off the the fairgrounds. But with that, it was just a misdemeanor. And he said that's one of the problems they're having is, with the water situation in Jackson, they need to fix that. Well, also with Hinds County, they're not taking many misdemeanors, if any, because I guess it's full. They need to fix their jail over there as well.
Yeah, well, they said the water for the jail comes from the well there on Highway 18, I believe. Not 100%. Maybe they have their own water tower out there. I'm not 100% sure.
Their water might be good. I mean, I was just saying that's probably why that meth head was in the back of that truck. He was really just looking for what. He didn't have time to break in it, but the whole misdemeanor going to jail thing, because I'll tell you that's
been a problem. That's been a problem for a while now. Is we do not have a misdemeanor holding facility, and they got felons busting out the seams out there. I mean, you could get away with murder and not get away with murder necessarily. Unless you're actually a criminal, but if you're a cop that has to kill somebody, or anyway, I digress. To your point, yes, you're 100% right.
Well, I'll tell you, last night at nighttime, and even yesterday, the horse show was going on out there, or the barrel racing. And while they're trying to take pictures, you had the homeless or meth heads or cracked out people jumping on the fence and shaking the bars and hollering. That happened a few times.
I mean, like a scene from a zombie movie.
It was. And at nighttime, I'll tell you, when they walked the street, because, again, we were guarding the horse show last night, there was no less than 20 to 25, and they constantly go around the fence of the fairgrounds. And I actually went over there again. I looked across at the hotels because they didn't have their security guard just yet. And I watched one start going through cars, so I had to get Capitol Police again. And again, Capitol Police came out. Great job. They hemmed the guy up because I had to follow him back over to the Shell station outside the front. And, they had a stern talking to, but, they said they caught that one down at the book. They had some kind of book program or fair or some book show.
Yeah, they had their book fair down at the Capitol over the weekend.
He was going through cars there. He's going through just checking the handles constantly. So it's kind of hard, really, to you try to patrol everything, but there's so many over there. And, I mean, it's just constant. They're always walking and going through, and I mean, I don't see how anybody keeps any belongings over there.
I'm curious. I mean, I probably shouldn't incriminate anybody by saying this, but I'm curious. Can citizens just kind of go set up bait cars and blast a bad guy if they try to break in it?
I'm not sure. I don't know that you would want to put yourself in the situation, but. Who am I to hold anybody back?
Well, I mean, the good guys would win short term, but Hinds County judicial system would make sure that the good guys lost in the long run. Because you can't kill Jackson criminals. They are pillars of the community. They need them down there running people off, shaking the fence like a bunch of zombies. They need this crime so they can keep getting this money that they're not spending on law enforcement.
Well, one thing that I know you mentioned, and I know you got to get on with your show, but before when the restaurants were leaving, and they're having these meetings with Chuckway and all of that group, you have to factor in this cost before too long. If Jackson keeps going this way and we can't put misdemeanors up, and you have to have, again, even hired security out there just to run people off, you add that in with the cost of water and see how your bill goes up. Now, I'm not against any of it. I work the paid security, but I'll tell you that's a job out there to keep people off of the fairgrounds right now when you're having a show, so they don't have a million break-ins, stuff gets stolen, trucks get stolen, all of that. So that's all I got for you. I just put that out there, and I'm going to go back and listen to your show. I do every day.
Appreciate it, Josh. I got a great text I'm about to read, too, so be listening. Peace.
Yes, sir.
All right, on the guns, and great call from Josh, by the way. Josh sent me that picture I posted on the Save Jackson page this morning of the guy. So, by the way, there's a picture of the guy, the meth head, on top of the boom truck as Capitol Police is trying to get him down. If you want to see it, just go check out Save Jackson. Hit the share button while you're there. So this just came in on the Guns and Gear text line. This is a great point before we go to break here. It says there is nowhere to put misdemeanor offenders, but ACLU sued the city of Jackson around 2016, stating they were arresting too many black juveniles. So to stop the lawsuit, the city agreed to stop arresting misdemeanors. Now these kids are grown. they have become grown career criminals. Amen. I've been saying this for a long time. And I don't tie into ACLU. You pointed that enough. When you, just like a kid, just like a baby at your house this morning, a toddler, if you let them get away with doing something, they're going to keep doing it. It's no different. If you let me get away with doing something, I'm going to keep doing it. If it's right, it's like, oh, I can do that? I didn't know I could do that. So it's no different with criminals. And, the part about this that grinds my gears is the part about saying they arrest too many black juveniles. The city's 84, it's really around 90-something% black. Let's be honest here. And it doesn't matter if it could be 100% black. But when one particular population, demographic overwhelmingly is the citizens of a city, well, that's most likely who you're going to be doing the most arresting of. It's like I'd be willing to bet. I don't know this to be fact, but just my assumption is, I'm going to do a little stereotyping here, that over in Rankin County, the most people arrested are probably white. Clutch the pearls. Just an assumption. In Madison County, I don't know. You got Canton there. So that skews it some. In Madison County, it's probably mostly black because Canton is a cesspool of criminal activity. All right. We're going to take a break real quick, come back in the first hour. Wow, man, what a great first hour. This has been fun this morning. Yeah. Caller, stay on hold. I'll get back to you. Derek, stay on hold. We'll end the first hour with you. You're listening to the Clay Edwards Show, 103.9 WYAB. And rules when necessary. Let's jump straight into Derek, man. He stayed on hold before we go to the top of the hour break on the Matt Hike and Flowwood phone line. Hey, Derek, you got it, brother.
Hey, good morning, man. How you doing?
I'm good, brother.
Hey, brother, I just want to say, man, so much happened this over the weekend. I felt suffocated, but I'll tell you about that, after the show. What I wanted to say is to the citizens of Jackson that may be listening, I was asked over the weekend, how do I think anything will be fixed or work Jackson State can be fixed? And the gentleman that asked me that, I was sitting in a restaurant with my family, and he said, how do you think that? I said, by what I'm doing right now. You see me? I'm here with my family. We're here in Jackson eating. This is how you fix problems. You don't sit there and talk about it and gerrymander. You be about it. And so if you want to fix Jackson, it's going to start right there with the family. And people ask us in Jackson all the time, well, why do y'all work here and then live in places like Rankin and Madison on the reservoir? I said, because every month I look at my paycheck and I look at my surroundings and I see how well my paycheck is being served. Okay? Conversely, I look at the same thing and I look at my children and see how well I'm serving them. And that's how you have the will to make things better or be at a better place.
I mean, it just blows my mind. Like, why do they want to sit there and think everybody should live in that trash? It just don't make no sense to me.
Yeah, well, it's like Clay, you've always heard me say to all the Thomases and the snowballs that call Kim show. I said it's not liking a man enough to have to deal with dirty water, terrible infrastructure, high crime, corruption, et cetera, et cetera.
Hey,
is that enough to not? You would rather have that than to not like President Trump?
We're up against the hour, brother. Holla back. Award-winning podcaster and almost maybe soon to be radio and TV personality, Clay Edwards. Vote for your boy in the Clay and Ledger Best of 2022 awards. I'm one of the top 5 finalists for Best Radio and TV Personality. Up against some heavy hitters, like Maggie Wade's in there. So we're going to need all the votes I can get. Boy, that'd be like Donald Trump beating Hillary Clinton. Not to compare Maggie Wade to Hillary Clinton. But the outsider, the underdog, the businessman, turned radio man, to be the best radio and TV personality. And I ain't even on TV. I'm on TikTok TV and YouTube and Facebook and Instagram. All right. This segment is going to be brought to you by Guns and Gear, located right out there at 1716 Highway 51 North in Gluckstadt, right next to Little Willie's there, home of No Limit Ammo. You need a gun? They got them. Whatever you need. They got it. Pistols, ARs, shotguns, rifles, ammo. Home of no limit ammo. I'm going to drive that home. We're gonna beat that up. I'm going to be poking the dead horse with a stick. No limit ammo. No limit ammo. So maybe I should not refer to dead horses when talking about buying guns. Maybe a dead deer. We're going to beat that dead deer with a stick. Anyway, shop them online, gunsandgearms.com. Let Hunter and the team know that you heard it here on the Clay Edwards Show. And we appreciate them sponsoring our text line. And just got a text in, and this works out perfect, too, because I got a rant based on some stuff I just read. It says, bus all the meth heads to New York. Absolutely. But so that was on the Guns and Gear text line there. Man, we got a bunch of good texts this morning. I promise I'm going to get to y'all's text. But I was looking at, so I did a video last night. I posted it to the Save Jackson Instagram. You want to see a bunch of angry Jackson Democrats? Just go follow the Save Jackson Instagram account and read my comments. They are a bunch of anger addicts. They can't help it. I live rent-free in their heads, and I drive them crazy. And I take pride in that because they drove me out of my hometown. So the least I can do is drive them crazy. So there's this argument that's been going on for a while now in local social media circles within the comment sections of WLBT and Save Jackson. And I don't even mention the other news channels because I think they're trash. But WABT has me banned from commenting on their page. I do have that new profile. I guess I can go comment there, but I don't even want to give them the Save Jackson page gets more comments than posts on WAPT, so they can pound sand. But there's an argument that's been going on for a while about meth heads from Rankin County coming over to Jackson. Y'all come over. Just keep your meth heads out of Jackson. Keep your meth heads out of Jackson. Well, if y'all weren't selling meth, they wouldn't be in Jackson. Let me say that again for the slow ones out there, for the people in the back. If y'all weren't selling meth, they wouldn't be in Jackson buying meth. Or any other drug for that matter. We'll just use meth as a catch-all here. If y'all were not selling drugs in your communities, it was crack in the 90s and coke in the 2000s, and it's meth now. And marijuana. We always forget about that one because, we're not allowed to talk about marijuana anymore now that it's quasi-legal. And I've been a full supporter of that. But anyway, don't sell drugs in Jackson, and people won't come to Jackson to buy drugs. Problem solved. Get your drug dealers to get jobs. And our folks will quit coming over here and buying drugs. That seems like an easy solution. Then you're like, but Pearl Police drops off homeless people in downtown Jackson. Well, downtown Jackson has homeless shelters. Next. What's your next argument? Call me on the Matt Kike and Flowood phone line and tell me. 601-879-0002. You can text me on the Guns and Gear text line. 769-241-1944. This is Paul texts in and says, meth ain't been a white boy drug since 2010. The black community is ate up too. Don't let them fool you. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, man. Look, as I was getting out of the nightclub business there in the late 2010, I saw it. I saw black guys starting to sell meth. And I was like, oh, it ain't long. It ain't long. And when I got back in 2015 for a short time, 14 or 15, whatever it was, and I was living downtown, I was living there at the Ironworks building, oh, I saw it firsthand. And I'm going to tell you what, there is a noticeable difference in a crackhead and a meth head in their behaviors. They're erratic. And I mean, I don't mean like a recreational meth smoker. I mean like full-blown living on the streets, I ain't gay, but $20 is $20 meth smoker. You know them when you see them. They are zombies. Like Josh called in and said a minute ago, just walking around the fairgrounds, shaking the fence, like a scene from World War Z or The Walking Dead. You know the difference. But, if you don't want that in Jackson, if you're so steadfast about not wanting that, I'm going to make a video about this later. If you're so steadfast about wanting that out of your communities, start snitching. Start snitching on them drug dealers that live in your neighborhoods. Call up Capitol Police if you're in that district. Say, hey, I know where some people are selling dope at in my community, and I demand it be out of here. And I've said it on this show before. I think even better, how about some community self-policing? How about all the people in the neighborhood who are fed up with the trap houses in the neighborhood, go and snatch them folks out of that trap house and handle it. Hold their family accountable if they live in the neighborhood. Like the Salem witch trials. Go have the Queens drug dealer trials. The High Street meth dealer trials. Well, we got a call here on the Matt Kike of Flowwood phone line. Hey, caller, you're on there.
Yeah, Clay, you seem like, I know we talk a lot about Jackson because that's where we live close to, but if you see any major Democrat-controlled city, they're all facing the same problem. I mean, you look at
out-of-control Democrats.
Exactly. But, I mean, it's complete lawlessness and breakdown of society. You see what's going on in Washington, D.C., where, the Supreme Court is coming out with major decisions that, protect the Second Amendment, and Congress is right there passing gun control bills right underneath their nose like they didn't even pay any attention to it. That's what you call a breakdown of society and a complete lawlessness. But when the tyrants get in charge and they start passing their edicts, they're not really laws. They'll expect us to give up our guns and obey them.
Yeah, I'd never heard the phrase gaslighting before 2016. I'd never heard that phrase used in the context that they like to use it in, or that it's correctly used in. But until Trump took office, I started seeing a bunch of Democrats and liberals crying on Facebook about gaslighting. And it took me a while. I was like, what are they talking about? What is gaslighting exactly? But that is exactly what Democrats are doing. Anybody who's typically accuses somebody of gaslighting, they're the ones with the flamethrower.
Well, also, the Democrats are experts at projection. They project on their opponents what they're doing. They're definitely involved in gaslighting, but they're also involved in all kind of lawlessness and everything else. But, they disarm the opposition by blaming the opposition.
Well, yeah, that's what I was referring to about the gaslighting thing. Sorry, I probably should have been more clear there. Yeah, when you were talking about the disarming of the good guys with guns because of the bad guys with guns. Yeah, that's gaslighting.
Exactly, and what's so crazy is, like I said, if the Supreme Court was in leftist control and the leftist was handing down decisions favorable to them, they would expect everyone to obey. But they're sitting over here ignoring, and you got different states like California and New York, and they just like, oh, you mean Second Amendment? Oh, we'll go ahead and pass our gun control anyway. I mean, they're sitting there knowingly violating the Second Amendment with legislation passed right after the Supreme Court decision. I mean, we have a complete breakdown in lawlessness in society in general, and Jackson is just a symptom.
Oh, yeah. That's the thing. You made a great point at the top of the phone call. We talk about Jackson because that's where we live. But if we lived in a suburb, or if we lived in Memphis, and we say we lived in South Haven, it would be the same conversation about what's going on in Memphis. If we lived in Atlanta or around Atlanta, it'd be the same conversation. It's these Democrat-controlled urban areas, or you're right. It's not even just a cesspool of crime. It is a breakdown in societal norms.
I work for a major utility company, and I won't mention who, but I've been with them for 24 years. And when I first started, I never saw what I see going on now. The stealing of copper cables. I mean, they steal copper cables, meth heads, white and black. Just as soon as we put them up, they steal them and tear them, take them down. We put them up, they take them down. When they're getting bold, they steal it in front of central offices. And we spend half our time running around fixing cut cables, just for the copper.
Yep. I mean, they're stealing all the copper out of the interstate lights along 55 and 20.
Exactly. I mean, we'll never fix Jackson until we fix society as we walk away from morals and values and what's good and right. Benjamin Franklin, I think it was him that said the Constitution was written for a moral and upright people. And, for all others, it's completely unsuitable. We talk a lot about the Constitution, but self-rule requires self-discipline. And that's what we've lost.
Yep. I mean, you can trace it back to 100 things, 1,000 different things, ACLUs and Southern Poverty Law Centers and the crime, the drug law of the 90s that sent so many people to jail for crack and this, that, and the other, and breaking up the families. But at the end of the day, it comes back to looking in the mirror and say, those drug laws should have never affected me. I should have never gone to prison because I shouldn't have been selling dope. If I'm gonna have sex with a girl, I need to be responsible for that child. There's no self-responsibility, personal responsibility anymore. It's anything I did wrong is because society did me wrong.
Exactly. If you get a bad case of the flu, a virus invades your body, and you're going to sneeze, you're going to cough, you're going to get fever. All those are symptoms of the virus. And we've got a virus in America, and everything else that you're talking about, whether it's stolen copper cable or, the man on the truck or, everything that we see going on is a symptom of the cause.
Yeah, I just got a text from a buddy of mine that lives downtown, a guy named Rob. He sent me a picture of the front of the AT&T building, and there's a huge pile of poop and pee just all right there on Capitol Street in front of the AT&T building. And he's like, man, it's just a complete breakdown of society. And this is a guy that fights and fights and fights for downtown and Jackson and stuff. And he's like, I'm to the point of giving up on this. He's like, because I haven't seen a cop on Capitol Street all weekend. And and you got people just defecating on the sidewalk. I mean, what happened? I mean, I know what happened, but my God, did it happen fast?
Well, it happened because people are pushing it to happen. The government gets stronger when society breaks down, when the family is weakened, and that's what they feed off of. It amazes me, we had all those riots in Washington and Seattle and stuff like that, where you just had hoodlums just jumping on cop cars, setting them on fire, graffiti everywhere. And, when it was Antifa, Black Lives Matter, the same politicians that are present, they just passed them off. They paid off their bail, sent them back out to do some more burning and looting. But when in January 6th, a couple of protesters that got up there and said, hey, I think this election was stolen, and happened to walk through the Capitol, and I think that's kind of a lot of nefarious stuff happened. They're still sitting in jail. They're not going to go to trial until 2023. They've not been even given bail. And, it's just, again, it's an unbalance of justice.
They're going to hold them in jail so they can have show trials right before the 2024 election. And it's going to backfire on them because I'm going to tell you what, angry, mad patriots are fed up. Even middle of the road lefties, they're fed up. They're coming over here to this side. They're tired. They're seeing everything that the left is doing. And I'm telling you, I'll send anybody the video that wants it. I was watching Timcast the other night, Tim Pool's podcast, and they had a dude on there, private police kind of guy anyway, special forces, all that. And he's firmly predicting that America will be in complete disarray and chaos. There will be riots and as close to civil war as we can get, especially in the urban areas, because when the right wins, whether it's Trump or DeSantis or whoever emerges, wins the presidential election in 24, that week after, they're going to burn these cities down. But this time, the people on the right aren't going to just sit back and let them do it anymore. They're going to go down there and burn it down with them. And we're going to devolve into complete chaos.
Well, Clay, that's with the understanding that we have free and fair elections. Once the left takes power, they never give up on that power. And we've come to another phase like Venezuela, that they've got the ability through, the electronic voting machines and mail-in balloting that was really never fixed. So, and I think you're going to see the right needing to do that once they see the election stolen once again right underneath their nose.
Well, I agree. Well, let's see here. Survivalist predicts massive civil disruptions around 24. Anyway, I had to make sure I had the video. I've seen if I had his name there without having to click on the video. But yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. I mean, the left has had control of all three branches of government for 4 years. Well, for the last two. And I know elections are handled on a state level, yada, yada, yada. But man, I don't trust it. I'm trying to be optimistic because I want to continue to think that election, that my vote matters. But man, it's hard.
Well, the left has learned that lesson, that gain control of local elections. They've learned that. Just like your George Soros district attorneys out there, he realized the real power is in localized power. And, when the left, even in Georgia, I don't know about Mississippi, but I know Georgia and some of these other swing states, they're in control of election committees. Even if it's an R, they, like the governor of Georgia, he defended the Dominion voting systems. Georgia's ate up with the Dominion voting system. Mm-hmm. So, I hate to be pessimistic. The only thing I can say is I'm a Christian and I've read the Bible, and despite all of this stuff that's happened, we win in the end. So,
yeah,
there's where our hope lies. It's not in politics, but in the meantime, we have to fight with every vigor we can for what we ever got left.
Yeah. All right, brother. I got to take a break, man. I appreciate you. Great call this morning.
Yeah, thank you.
You're listening to the Clay Edwards Show. We'll be right back on 103.9 WYAB. Unnecessary. Welcome back into the Clay Edwards Show. This segment is going to be brought to you by Acme Pizza and Daiquiris. Right there at Fannin Mart on the Reservoir, Acme Pizza and Daiquiris they have like 12 different specialty pizzas, and from the pig, the Hawaiian, the black and blue, and the Wheel of Flavor. You can put up to 3 of their specialty pizzas on one pizza, like 3 slices this, 3 slices that, 3 slices of this, or maybe it's 2 slices, whatever. Phenomenal. They got deep fried pizza, they got sliders, they got pasta. It's all available right there, and daiquiris. They have like a wide selection of frozen daiquiris, just like your favorite New Orleans pizza by the slice and daiquiri shops. So get by there, see Chip Matthews and the crew there at Acme Pizza and Daiquiris. They open at 4 p.m. daily, and they are on all your favorite food delivery apps, Take a Break deliveries and all of them. So check them out, and tell them that you heard it on the Clay Edwards Show. All right. Great phone call there, that last segment. So I'm sitting here looking at this reply. This guy sent me a video on the Save Jackson Instagram, and it's of some white cops beating up or arresting a white person that I guess wasn't complying. I don't know. But it's sitting there telling me I'm a racist because I support police. Long story short, told me that he was going to find me in person and show and expose me for the racist that I am. And let me say this. First off, I don't care. Y'all can call me if Democrats aren't calling me a racist at least 3 times a day, I'm not doing my job. So let me say that. I don't care. Y'all called me a racist so many times. You can't prove it. I mean, I want to say this. I've never in my life been told by anybody that I'm a racist. referring to themselves. Y'all talk about all these racists out there. But I've never, like, you would think that if racism was running so rampantly through our nation, that people would proudly be saying, yes, I am I'm a white supremacist. I'm a racist. Like, people, you would think people would be saying that. I know somebody's going to clip that out and say that I said that. But you would think it would be like a badge of honor if so many people were doing it. If it was so trendy to be a racist. I mean, Colin Jackson, the mayor of Jackson, talking about Wakanda forever, that seems kind of racist. The mayor of Jackson about free to land, that seems kind of racist. You know? All the people that jump straight to, oh, if you support law enforcement, you're a racist. Why don't you just not break the law? I don't know, man. It's just stupid. It's absolutely stupid. You know? It just doesn't make sense. Like, why can't you just not break the law? And, you know, looking at this guy's Instagram, this guy paints cars for a living. Like, he has a job. He probably ain't out breaking the law. But he's watched so much media that they think any white person that talks about Jackson crime must be a racist. Why are you worried about what we do? It's our capital city. Our tax money funds things in Jackson. It's my hometown. Mind-boggling. Absolute mind-boggling. Please, check me in person. Let's have a conversation. I beg you. If it needs to be more than that, it can be more than that. All right. I want to turn things down a notch here. I had an opportunity to meet a guy. I came and bought some concert tickets from me Saturday at the dealership. I wasn't able to go to that Whiskey Myers show. And we'll call him Ben for the sake of conversation. Ben, we ended up having a 2-hour conversation about politics, and he is from Carroll County. And I'll be dang if this guy don't know my family up there. Man, I got some family from Carroll County. I never get to have these kind of conversations either, believe it or not, because my family would just not really like that. So anytime I meet somebody, they tell me they're from somewhere. I'm like, oh, well, I got family up there. I never get to do that. Anyway, he's like, I'm from Carroll County. I was like, oh, you may know my Aunt Carol Jean and Uncle Span. He's like, Span is your uncle? And he's passed away now. He's like, man, I used to go and sit and talk to Mr. Span all the time. They tell me some great stories about my uncle I didn't know and just all this stuff. Man, I just got a big kick out of that, and I just wanted to give him a shout-out this morning. He lives down here in Jackson, in the Jackson area now on the reservoir, and, talking about my uncle was a Korean War veteran, and when he had left to go to the Korean War, he lived in Black Hawk, Mississippi. While he was gone in the Korean War, he came back and I guess the post office had moved and they had changed some things around, so his house was no longer in Black Hawk. It was in another town. And he just got a kick out of that. And apparently my uncle was driving a tractor down the road, inebriated one time, and got pulled over, and they were going to give him a DUI, but he knew the right people and he got out of it. I just got it funny. All I can think about is the time that George Jones got the DUI driving the riding lawnmower. If I got that right, I think that's who it was. Anyway, that made me think about that. So I appreciate that conversation. And that's what you get, man. You come by and just chop it up with me sometime, man. Make sure I'm not too busy, but I love talking with you folks. I do. Because I talk to y'all every morning on this show like you're my best friends. These are the same conversations I have with my best friends. I'm just pretending that people are talking back. And when people call, even better. I mean, these are the same conversations that in my circle of friends that we have all day. Whether it's text message or phone or whatever else. So I do appreciate them. But it was neat to hear stories about my uncle because I don't get to talk to that side of the family too much. So I ended up calling my aunt and we got a history lesson about my uncle and stuff. So good stuff. All right, man. What else did we have here? WLBT. Yes. So over the weekend, WLBT did a story And I'm going to tease this and we'll come back to it because I ran over on that last phone call. WLBT did a story about illegal dumping going on there at the old Valley Gas building in downtown Jackson and how it's become a cesspool for homeless people and crime, and the park right next to it, a bunch of homeless folks and vagrants and meth heads doing drugs there. And I'm just thinking to myself, it wasn't 2 years ago, it was during 2020. I did a post from that very same place, showing people how bad that building had gotten, showing people the needles on the ground, showing people the vagrants in the park doing drugs, all that, the bums in the park doing drugs. And y'all call me a racist bigot. Oh, if you ain't got a positive solution, don't talk about it. Positive solutions only, Clay. Well, WLBT didn't offer any positive solutions. And y'all all up in their comments talking about, oh, I can't believe this is happening in our city. Well, I can. It's ran by Democrats. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back into the Clay Edwards Show. This segment is going to be brought to you by Complete Exteriors, Roofing and Gutters. Complete Exteriors, Roofing and Gutters in Pearl wants to help you determine who to use when you're seeking roof repair or work on your gutters. You need to choose a qualified, certified company that has a local brick and mortar building, a company that has been in business for longer than 2 years and offers a warranty. Complete Exteriors has a 4.9 Google review after 16 years in business. That is strong as death right there, my friends. Complete Exteriors, Roofing and Gutters can provide you with a professional and honest look at your roof and gutters. Complete Exteriors, quality without compromise. When you need someone you can trust, contact CompleteExteriorsMS.com. And my friend Christy Kendall and James are over there working, and great folks, man, know them all. Stopped by not too long ago and just hung out and shot the breeze with them. They're located right across from Rick's Pro Truck there on Highway 80 in Pearl. It's the Rick's Pro Truck that used to be Big Ten, the big one there on 80, right around the corner from Airport Road. Stop by, see them, see what all they have to offer. They got the solar shingles now, and apparently with this new Green New Deal they've signed, the Build Back broker thing they signed, you can get some tax rebates and some whatnot on these solar panels and this and that. So, hey, if the government's giving our money away, you might as well take advantage of it and go solar. Or at least have solar backup anyway. All right, so Instagram has just been a gold mine of stupidity this morning. And so I'd made a video about idiots escaping to Jackson, if you're tuning in late. Criminals breaking the law in other places and running back to criminal safe haven, Jackson, Mississippi. This guy here left this comment. It may be a girl. I honestly don't know. But it says, so on one hand, fleeing to Jackson to be safe. But on the other hand, no one considers Jackson to be safe. My reply, how high were you when you typed that? I bet you think people can't sit on a love seat if they're not in love. Folks, this person's vote counts just as much as yours and mine. I just want you to know that. This is what we're dealing with. It, him, her, she, them, whatever it is, thought that criminal safe haven meant Jackson was safe. I need to take a break. I really do. I mean, from all this, I just need to unplug from social media. We're going to tomorrow's show. I normally don't plan my shows out too far in advance. I do it the night of, because of, this is a current events related show. But tomorrow we're going to talk about social media, the pros and cons of social media and what to expect if you're on the right side of the law moving into the midterms here in November and into 2024's general elections, our presidential elections. I'm sorry. Because they're going to try to do away with folks like me and you guys. Anybody that goes against their narrative. It's no longer just about the narrative of COVID. Or the vaccine or any of that. It is, if we go against any of their stuff, it's hate speech. That's what we're all going to get kicked off of social media for hate speech. And I'll tell y'all a quick little thing that happened over the weekend. WLBT shared a post. It didn't even happen here, but it says a woman's Great Danes turned on her, attacked her, and killed her. And I jokingly said in the comments, now if we could just get cat ladies, get the cats to turn on their liberal white cat lady owners, we'd really be on to something. Clearly a joke. Not really. I mean, it wouldn't be the worst thing to happen. And I got a notification from Facebook that I'd been put in Facebook jail for 24 hours. And I'm going to kind of sound like I'm going to make my own argument against myself when I say this, but I disputed it, and I won the dispute. I mean, this is like Rocky beating the Russian. The underdog won. The good guys won again. But I know my victory will be short-lived because I will say something. I will have some wrong think here soon, and I will end up right back in Facebook jail. And somebody made the comment to me. They said, hold on now. I love my cats, and I'm by no means a liberal. Yeah, but have you ever done any Twitter warfare? Arguing with dummies on Twitter. It's always they have a cat as their profile picture. White liberals love cats. I don't know what it is. They're not really dog people. They love cats. So I just always associate cats with crazy white middle class women, liberal women that have nothing else better to do with their time except stir up crap on the internet and call everybody else a racist when they're probably the ones that are racist. Anyway, I got a kick out of that. But, back to the kind of circling back to the post I made about, or what I said about WLBT and the dumping there on Valley Street. It's funny because I'm seeing everything that I've been saying for the last 2.5, 3 years, 4 years. I'm seeing mainstream media and normies finally start to come around. And black folks in Jackson who have never liked the stuff I posted, I'm seeing them post these same exact things, fed up with what's going on. And I just sit back and I'm like, right again. I made a post Saturday. A major business is leaving Jackson. Now, it ain't a retail business, so you may not be familiar with it. But it's a business that has been in Jackson for 60 years. Their current location was in the One Jackson Place Plaza downtown there. It's, what's the name of this law firm here? Haddix Reed, CPAs and advisors, not law firm, I'm sorry. Haddix Reed, CPAs. Have been in Jackson for 60 years. Employ 50 people. And they're moving. They're moving to Ridgeland, out there to the Butler Snow Building. And that's the kind of losses that a downtown can't handle. They're building all these condos and apartments and this, that, and the other downtown. When you have somewhere like that I could have 50 people working for it, that eats lunch every day. There's 50 people that eat lunch downtown every day. When they're leaving, and they're not the only ones that have left. That's the thing. I feel bad for these business owners. I talked about it the other day. There's this new, really, really nice establishment that opened up there on Capitol Street, this bar and restaurant and all these things. Man, that looks like they spent a lot of money. And if I was a betting man, I would bet that they don't last 6 months. I'm not pulling for that. I hope they last forever and make millions of dollars and are pillars in the community. But I have my doubts. At least under their current business model anyway. They may have to, get a DJ and do the nighttime thing and hope that works. All right, let's take our last break of the day here. Come back, land the plane. And if you guys want to call in, 601-879-0002 is the Mac Hike of Flowwood phone line. And I will read some of these texts on the Guns and Gear text line when I get back, right here on 103.9 WYAB. Y'all know it. Breaking rules when necessary. Hey man, we've been doing this long enough now that we've come up with a few catchphrases on this show, hadn't we? Breaking rules when necessary. That one's been around since day one. Reality radio. That's my favorite. I don't say it enough, but the reality radio, because people are like, oh, you do conservative talk. You talk politics. I don't really consider this a political show. We talk about real life. We're like one of those real talk Facebook groups. You know, we talk about real life. You know, like what's going on in the community, sometimes down to the very, very local level of what's going on in the street somewhere. You know, I am a symptom of social media. I would not be here if it wasn't for social media. So that's one of the pros, right? For me anyway. Like being able to take social media and analyze it and break it down and talk about it on the radio. That I think, because that's what's really going on, isn't it? I mean, that's the news that the news don't always report. And I love that. I love being able to do that. I love that you guys trust me with stuff y'all send me to share. You're like, you know, people used to always tag WLBT 3 on your side. They used to always tag that. Like anytime somebody felt like they were being done wrong, they would tag WLBT. Now I see Save Jackson and Clay Edwards tagged in all those same posts now with them. Cause y'all know I'll share it. I don't have to fact check it. I can just, I trust for the most part. I get some stuff I don't share cause it doesn't look local to me. But I love that y'all trust me with that stuff, man. I really do. And I'll always share it. A girl shared a picture of a Kia on fire yesterday, a Kia Soul burning down on 55 yesterday. I shared it, and the girl whose car it was commented just to let everybody know that she was okay. And we're glad she was okay. I just think that kind of stuff is cool. Again, tomorrow's show, we're going to talk about social media. We'll talk about any other news that breaks too. We ain't going to do just that. But I want to end today's show with this. I need to find it real quick. This a little funny here. This is on the Save Jackson Twitter if you want to go see it yourself. Somebody found a Donald Trump SNL skit from a few years ago, and this is absolutely radio gold right here, my friends, as Jameson Haygood would say. This is Donald Trump on SNL a few years back.
Cock-a-doodle-doo, folks. I'm Donald Trump. And there's two things in the world I love. A good deal and a good meal. Join me at Donald Trump's House of Wings. Trump, you know our wings will make you happy. Trumpy, you know our wings will fill you up. Trump, if you want a place with awesome chicken wings, yeah.
All right, we'll see y'all tomorrow. ClayEdwardsShow.com.
Thanks for listening. Tune in tomorrow at 7 a.m. as the Clay Edwards Show discusses all that is going on in and around the city of Jackson.
This concludes our broadcast day.
Right here on 103.9 WYAB.